Economists are in fact not economists at all. They're propagandists of money value. This system is more wasteful than all the other existing systems in the history of the planet. So you're really dealing with not an economic system, but I would go so far as to say an anti-economic system. The problem we have is essentially the financial money sequence system. It's a system disorder, and the system disorder seems to be fatal.
There is no profit under the current paradigm in saving lives, putting balance on this planet, having justice and peace or anything else.
Disease supports medicine. It supports doctors and hospitals. But if you really were able to eliminate most diseases, you would eliminate professions as well.
You have to create problems to create profit. Crime does create business. We have now roughly 2 million people incarcerated in this country. Many of them are in prisons run by private corporations who trade their stock on Wall Street based upon how many people are in jail. But that's a reflection of the culture in which we live, in which we've all, to one degree or another, endorsed.
I think the biggest barrier would be the values that people are taught to uphold that system.
At the social level of life organization, it isn't a genetic program or a genetic defect. It's a value system disorder.
What you have to understand is that the intellectual culture of a society actually reflects the power interests in that society, the dominant perspective.
In the past, throughout almost all of human history, the main threat to human survival was nature. Today it is culture. Not only does structural violence kill more people than all the behavioral violence put together, structural violence is also the main cause of behavioral violence.
Some colleagues at Harvard studying this suggested that inequality acted as a social pollutant because it affects almost everyone in society.
The immune system cannot recognize the invasive cancer, and it takes over the whole body until the body collapses. And we're in that spasming, collapsing form now.
So the system has to be corrected, not print more money and give it to banks. That doesn't deal with the problem.
Every level of life organization and life system is in a state of crisis and challenge and decay or collapse.
The problems that we have today will continue to go on. This will never go away within a monetary system.
It's clear that we're on the verge of a great transition in human life.
That what we face now is this fundamental change of the life we've known over the last century.
There has to be a link between the economy and the resources of this planet, the resources being, of course, all animal and plant life, the health of the oceans and everything else. This is a monetary paradigm that will not let go until it's killed the last human being.
The in-group will do all it can to stay in power. And that's what you got to keep in mind. They'll use the Army and Navy and lies or whatever they have to use to keep in power. They're not about to give it up because they don't know of any other system that will perpetuate their kind.
We were saying how very important it is to bring about in the human mind the radical revolution. The crisis is a crisis in consciousness, a crisis that cannot anymore accept the old norms, the old patterns, the ancient traditions, and considering what the world is now, with all the misery, conflict, destructive brutality, aggression, and so on. Man is still as he was. He's still brutal, violent, aggressive, acquisitive, competitive, and he has built a society along these lines.
the whole system that we live in drills into us that we're powerless, that we're weak, that our society is evil, that it's crime-ridden, etc., and so forth. It's all a big fat lie. We are powerful, beautiful, extraordinary. There is no reason why we cannot understand who we truly are, where we are going. There is no reason why the average individual cannot be fully empowered. We are incredibly powerful beings.
I think I spent 30 years of my life, the first 30, trying to become something. I wanted to become good at things. I wanted to become good at tennis. I wanted to become good at school and grades and everything I kind of viewed in that perspective. I'm not okay the way I am, but if I got good at things, you realize that I had the game wrong. The game was to find out what I already was. Find out what I already was.
We've been trained for individual differences to stand out. So you look at each person immediately as brighter, dumber, older, younger, richer, poorer, and we make all these dimensional distinctions, put them in categories and treat them that way. And we get so that we only see others as separate from ourselves in the ways in which they're separate. And one of the dramatic characteristics of experience is being with another person and suddenly seeing the ways in which they are like you, not different from you, and experiencing the fact that which is essence in you and which is essence in me is indeed one. The understanding that there is no other. It is all one.